Hey everyone, James here, and welcome back to the Gamefree YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be covering the top 3 mistakes that people make when they quit playing video games. Now, this will hopefully be a shorter video, chock full of information. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you that there are a few places available in my Gamefree coaching program. So if this sounds like something you're interested in and you want to take this a step further, become free of video games, book a discovery call in the link in the description, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon. But without further ado, let's get into the video. What do people do wrong when they start playing video games? And I could make a whole list, like a dozen different bullet points that people are doing wrong, but I want to try and condense this down into the 3 most important that I see having the biggest impact on people when they stop playing. And the first one, and this is something that impacted me a lot when I was first trying to quit, was quitting gaming only to replace it with mindless browsing on YouTube and Twitch and just continuing to watch video game related content. Obviously this isn't something that people want to do if they've just quit playing. It seems kind of redundant, right? Well, funnily enough, it's not actually that bad. Now I'm going to give 2 different kind of responses to this, so bear with me a second. On the one hand, you can argue that you've got better things to do. There are better ways to spend your time. You shouldn't be wasting all this time on gaming. Like, it's just going to result in relapses and cravings and all this stuff further down the road. And yeah, there is a lot of truth to that. But on the other hand, if you are just quitting gaming, the single most important thing for you to do is to not play video games, especially in the first few weeks. Because you see, there's a mental and a physical side to quitting. And the mental side usually only lasts for 1 to 2 weeks, and it is arduous. Seriously, it is tough. If you've never done it before, it is really, really difficult to get through. And whatever you need to do to make it through those first couple of weeks without playing, well, that's up to you. And this is just something that can't be avoided. It doesn't matter if you detox, it doesn't matter if you go through the Gamefree system. While I say that quitting gaming is easy, which it is, if you watch any of my other videos, you'll know about that. You are still going to feel these negative effects whether you like it or not. But the physical side of gaming, like just staying away from them, which become more prevalent after those first couple of weeks, is a lot easier in actuality. And this is when watching Twitch and YouTube and all this stuff and wasting time has more of a negative effect on your life. So the mistake isn't necessarily indulging in these things. It is doing it for a long period of time and feeling extra guilty about it when you first stop. As long as you stay off video games for a while and then you eventually phase out YouTube and Twitch, then it's not actually as bad as you think. But obviously if you keep watching endless YouTube videos and Twitch for months and months and months, well, that's a different story. But if you do it in the first couple of weeks for a bit here and there, maybe you binge watch Netflix and whatever else, don't beat yourself up over it. The most important thing for you to do is to quit gaming. And just a heads up, I will be releasing a video soon that deals specifically with YouTube and how you can stop watching Twitch and YouTube altogether. Moving on, the second mistake that I see people make the most when they quit video games is not giving themselves enough to do, or not having enough responsibility. Now I see a lot of people who quit and they say, oh, I've got so much free time, I don't know what to fill it with, I can't do this many hobbies. Well, for most people, most of their day should be filled up with a job or some kind of work activity. If you're in university or school or whatever else it is, well, most of that time should be spent working. You should be doing whatever it is you need to do to get yourself closer to your goals. Hobbies are a reward. They're something that you should be doing once you've finished everything you need to do for the day. You should have more responsibilities than you feel comfortable with. Because oftentimes I find people, there's that saying, isn't there, that if you give a man 100 hours to do one task, it'll take him 100 hours. If you give him 1 hour to do 100 tasks, you'll get them all done. Obviously, they've got to be pretty small tasks, but you get the idea. The things you do every day and the things that you give yourself to do fill the time available. So if you have a lot to do in a small space of time, chances are you're going to get them done. But what people do when they quit playing video games is they give themselves all this free time. Because if you were playing 8 hours a day, suddenly you've got loads of time to fill. And that is just not feasible to fill it with hobbies. So you've got to find something, you've got to find some responsibility, something that you can do in that time to replace it. And you're not necessarily going to enjoy it. It might be a job, it might be some kind of work or study, and it's probably going to suck. But it's damn sight better than playing video games all day. Because when you think about how gaming makes you feel, how it makes you feel sick and tired, and you don't have no passion, no energy, you're not motivated, bad relationships, poor diet, sleep, whatever it might be. Compare that to studying for a few hours or going to a job or whatever it is you do with your time. It's night and day difference. And then you get all your evening or days off to indulge in whatever hobbies you have, go and see friends, like take the time to do the things that you want to do. And as a result of putting in that work to begin with, they are so much more rewarding in the long run. And this is something I found once I quit playing video games, is I gave myself so much to do that I don't have the chance to play video games. And any time that I do get is filled with my hobbies. Whether that's going for walks or going to the gym or, like, I don't know, playing Dungeons and Dragons and reading books, I don't know. Those things are way more enjoyable to me now because I've done the work throughout the day and I allow myself to indulge in them. So if you quit playing video games, make sure you've got a lot to do to fill that time. And if you're worried about what to do, well, that's what I go through in the Gamefree program. I help people figure out exactly what it is they need to do every day to achieve the life that they want. And the last mistake that people make when they quit playing video games is doing some kind of detox for X amount of days. If you've seen any other top people in the industry, they recommend these approaches. It doesn't matter whether it's for 14 days or a month or 90 days. And yet I've found time and time again that these approaches just do not work. They don't. Because what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, right, I'm going to quit for 90 days and then what? I've got free reign to play video games as much as I want. What am I going to do afterwards? Just the word itself, detoxing, implies that it's finite. And for people that completely change their life by not playing video games, then going back to them just isn't a choice. For me, going back to video games is no longer a choice. But if I was doing a detox, I'd get to 90 days and suddenly be like, right, guess I'm going to go and play again. And I'm going to repeat this cycle over and over and over again because I think it's the right thing to do. By going down this road instead of the Gamefree approach that I like, which is a really simple 3-step process. You break down the video games, you overcome conditioning and understand the beliefs, and then finally build your ideal lifestyle. When you make that choice to quit gaming, it just happens like that. It is instant, it's effortless, and it's enjoyable. Because you're no longer shackled by video games, you're no longer under the influence, they no longer have control over you. And there's no point at, say, 70 or 80 days into your detox where you're like craving video games, where you can't wait to get back into them. You're just on edge all the time, you're anxious because you just want nothing more to play and you're almost at the end of it. And you've almost able to give yourself permission to go back to them. Because that's what you're doing as soon as you start. You've already failed. Because your brain knows that there's going to come a point where it gets to play again. So all it has to do is make these 90 days enjoyable, make it easy for you, and then a couple of weeks towards the end, it's going to start bringing these thoughts back into your head. It's going to start making you crave video games, giving you thoughts about nostalgia, playing with friends, all these different things. And then suddenly 90 days comes around and it's easy for you to get back into them. It's easy for you to relapse. And if you've encountered this problem with detoxing, with willpower, moderation, whatever it might be, let me know in the comments. Let me know how it went. I'm always interested to see what other people's experiences and opinions are of quitting gaming. But that's it for this video. What would you add? What are some mistakes that you made when you first quit, or quit for the 10th time like I did? I'd love to hear it. And if you do want to take this to the next level and become game-free for good and truly take your life to the next level, book a free discovery call with me. It's super easy, simple, and I love hearing about what your problems are and helping you diagnose and solve them right there and then. As always, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, the old YouTuber spiel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.